I've seen a ton of people complaining about having a down year this year. This is in the gutter space, in the roofing space, and it kind of blows my mind because we're on pace to double, actually like 2.5x. And I'm like, what is different for you than for me? And I'll ask questions here and there, and there's a couple really large factors between them and then the people that are like me and the people that I know that are growing their business and blowing up this year. So I want to dig into the big difference between those having a down year and those having a record year here in 2026. So those having a down year, when I ask questions on these Facebook posts, I'm like, hey, what are you doing for marketing? Almost none of them are doing any form of marketing. They're like, I post on my Facebook page. I'm like, what? Like, no wonder you're having a down year. Nobody can find you. We live in a world where you either market or you die. That's all there is, right? You're either marketing to everybody or you're not getting jobs because the entire industry is evolving and growing and learning how to market. So if you're just refusing and like, I'm word of mouth guy and that's it, right? You're gonna die. That's all there is to it, right? Sure, word of mouth leads or referrals, as actual marketers call it, they're the best leads by far. They are slam dunks. Like if you could live off of just referrals, oh my goodness, life would be amazing. Your closing rate would be through the freaking roof. You wouldn't even have to have a sales process. You could literally just send estimates and let people buy, all right? But you can't build a big business off of just word of mouth. So people depend way too much on that. A second thing is all my contractors are down and they're just not sending me enough work. Why did you create a business to become an employee for someone else? And I know you're gonna argue with me on that, on semantics, but you're an employee. You are a slave to somebody else. Sure, they don't pay you a W-2. They don't take taxes on your pay or whatever, right? You got your own truck and your own trailer and your own whatever else. And you think you make your own schedule, but really they tell you where to go, when to go there, and how to do it, right? I will never understand why people chose to start a business only to become a slave to a different contractor. It blows my mind. They control how much they pay you. If you don't like how much they're going to pay you, they'll find somebody else. They control when you do it. They control how you do it. It's just ridiculous. Like, you're not allowed to have wrapped your logo on stuff. You're not allowed to wear company shirts. You're not allowed to ask for reviews from those customers. Like, they just pigeonholed you. And like, my employees here have more freedom than most subcontractors have with the roofers that they work with, right? Gutter subcontractors with roofers that they work with. Blows my mind, all right? So they're not marketing. They're depending on other people who most of the time also are not marketing. And last but certainly not least, they have zero accountability for themselves. And you might say like, well, what does that have to do with anything, Colin? Well, they blame the market, they blame the war, they blame the president, they blame whoever they can. Their contractors, like cheap homeowners, the competition who's doing it for $1 a foot less, right? Like, reality check. I have guys that sell gutters for $14 a foot less than me in my market, all right? $1 per foot difference is not a reason somebody's gonna not choose you, all right? That's it. They'll look for anybody else to blame but themselves. All right, so we've just covered why people who are having a down year suck. All right, that's it. If you want to grow, this is what you need to look like. This is what needs to be happening. You need to learn how to market. All right, and marketing can look like a few different things. It can be print marketing. It can be social media marketing. It can be billboard marketing. It could be having your logo on everything. It could be putting yard signs out. Like, there's a lot of different things that you can be doing. The bare minimum, if you are having a down year, something you should be looking into is the likes of Angie's, HomeU, HomeBuddy, Home Advisor, same thing as Angie's now, sorry. Nextdoor, Networks, the likes of those, all right? They will just spoon feed you leads. Sure, they're not all great, but it's better than being down this year. It's better than going from being a $500,000 company to a $400,000 company, right? It's better than being a $2 million company becoming a $1.5 million company, right? So why not give them money? If your pricing is right, you should be able to make money on this. Like, I think Angie's for a gutter lead is something like 60 to 100 bucks a piece, right? If it's a 150-foot house, which is normal, and your pricing is right, you should be making 2-3 grand off of that house. Gross profit, right? This is before overhead and fixed expenses, but your gross profit should be 2-3 grand. What is 100 bucks? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Roofing, all right, we know Angie's, they'll charge us more for that. It might be $200, $250, but same thing. Your gross profit on a normal house should be 10 grand, right? So like, what the heck? Why are we gonna bicker over 250 bucks? No, pay them, get the leads, grow your business. Now, when you take on a lead aggregator, like all those 5 I just listed, you need to have someone whose lone job it is calling those leads all day, every day. You're like, Colin, like, I'm not gonna pay somebody to sit there and do that. All right, cool, find something else for them to do too, all right? But they need, speed to lead is so important. Our SOP on this, I have 2 gals that's their lone job, is just booking leads all day long. And the SOP is the second a lead comes in, we triple dial it. We call it 3 times back to back to back. If we don't get an answer on the 3rd one, we leave a voicemail and then shoot a text. Then we do it again an hour later. And then we do it again another hour later. We call them a total of 9 times in that first day. And then we do it again the next day. We do that literally for 5 business days in a row. And then we skip down to once a day, all right? But we don't give up on these things. We don't request refunds for 2 weeks. You might be like, that's crazy, Colin. Like, we'll request refunds if it's like numbers disconnected or fake number or something like that. But if the number's ringing and we're leaving voicemails and we're texting and whatnot, like we want 2 weeks of data where we could show, here's how many times we called this customer, we didn't get through to them, we want a refund. And even Angie's doesn't fight us on that, all right? So we track all of this in Client Cascade. It works super well. So lead aggregators gotta minimum be doing that too. The biggest companies, the ones that are growing in 2026, have an actual sales process. They don't show up, I don't have a piece of paper here, write a bunch of stuff down on a piece of paper and be like, here you go, let me know, and walk away, all right? They also don't show up with an iPad, take a bunch of pictures and say, okay, I'm gonna email it over to you and you can just sign and accept there and then leave. They don't do that either, all right? They have an actual sales process where they go through their company, like they go through a discovery usually, learn what the customer's after, what they're not after, all that stuff. They go through a thorough inspection and they go through their company story and why they should choose to do business with this company. And then they go through their products and then they go through all the pricing options, all right? And I say pricing options. This is pivotal. Don't just give your customers one option because then it's a yes or no, right? You got to give them multiple options. This could be a cash price, a finance price. This could be option A, B, or C, gutter with guard, gutters only, or just this one section in gutters, right? Give them options. Always get some sort of deal. Having a sales process equals growth in 2026. Showing up and winging it ain't gonna cut it, all right? Promise you. Emailing estimates from remote ain't gonna cut it. There's a model for it. Got a good buddy, Jonathan Rosales. He's a $1 million+ gutter company. He lives over in Spain, somewhere, Barcelona. He runs a business on like Rhode Island or something like that, somewhere on the East Coast. And it's all remote. That's it, all remote. He knows, he's not getting as premium of pricing as he could be, but the dude's freaking dialed, all right? He works ridiculous hours doing this, all right? But that's a very, very rare business, all right? That business is never gonna grow and scale and sell for hundreds or tens of millions of dollars. It just ain't gonna happen, all right? There's too much variable in that, all right? Private equity is not into that scene yet, all right? So they have a good quality sales process. And last, guys, they just own it. If they have a down month, if they don't hit their target, it's not bitching about everybody else. It's, what did I do wrong? Where did I miss the mark? Did we not market hard enough? What happened in our sales process? Let's look in. All right, holy cow, we're missing this one part of the sales process. All of our reps. Like we use this program called Sales Ask, and there's another one, Rilla, out there. But it literally records the entire sales interaction. And you can set up all these parameters and these keywords for the AI to be listening for. And our sales reps get graded on every single one. Did they follow all these steps? I think ours is like 27 steps inside of it, right? 27 keywords and phrases or whatever. Do they hit these things? We can see really quickly by looking at that if they're dropping the ball or not. It's really simple, really simple. So that's how you grow your business in 2026. I'm tired of people blaming the market and being like, oh, it's a down year. And then 6 other people, yeah, it is. You're good, man. It'll all come back. Like, no, it won't. If you're down, you're going down. All right. This ain't a roller coaster that just keeps going like this. All right. If you're going down, you're going down unless you change something. All right. You can't just keep riding it down and hope, oh, it's going to get better. Right. No, you have to make shifts. You have to change things in your business, in who you are, in order for it to piggyback up, all right? Your business should never be like this year after year after year. Your business should be like this every single year. Think about the greatest businesses. Think about the Tommy Mellos. Think about, the biggest HVAC companies. Think about, like, they're freaking everywhere. They don't go like this every year. No, sure. There might be a point where they went like this and then they went like this ever since, all right? I've done that, went like this, and then, right? And now we're going back, all right? It ain't gonna happen again, all right? I had to make some shifts. I tried some crazy stuff, didn't work out. Like, I feel like every entrepreneur goes through that where they try a bunch of crazy stuff and it flops miserably. And then they're like, okay, let's just stick with the slow and steady and the boring stuff that keeps growing our businesses, all right? And that's what we had to do, all right? We had to go back to the boring stuff, the simple, easy stuff, get rid of the 3 locations in 3 different states all across this country. Like, nah, all right, let's stick with the one. Let's go. Let's get rid of these extra services. Let's do the ones that we know really, really well, but the SOPs are dialed in, and rock and roll. So there you have it. Businesses that are tanking in 2026 versus businesses that are growing in 2026. The vast differences between the two. Hopefully, if you're in one of the businesses tanking, you learn something in this and you're gonna make those shifts and you're gonna end the year. I mean, today is July 9th, all right? We're just over halfway through the year. You can right the ship and still have a banner year, all right? Get after it, kick some butt, take some names.